Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Amateur Radio Roundtable. I am Katie, WY7YL, here along with Dwayne, WY7FD, and Tom, W5KUB, and Glen, KG5GP. Tonight is November 2nd, 2021. I can't believe we're almost to the end of the year. I'd like to welcome all of you who are here watching live on W5KUB.com or on YouTube. If you are on YouTube and you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Right there. You see it? There it is. Hit that subscribe button.
And the like button.
And the like button. So that thumbs up, hit that one too. That'll help us get the word out so everybody else can join our little family here on the Amateur Radio Roundtable. We've got, if you are out there in the shortwave world and listening on WBCQ, which is 7490, we'd love to hear where you're listening to us from, or where are you? That's terrible English. It's terrible grammar.
Yes,
that was really bad. Yeah, sorry. So please send us an email. Let us know where in the world you're listening to our show. How's that? Was that better? Okay, yeah. You can send an email to Tom at w5kub.com and give us a signal report. So tonight, again, we're at the very beginning of November, getting ready for all kinds of things this winter. It's contest season again. There's balloon projects happening. There's always all kinds of fun activities. We got a lot of club stuff happening around here, and antenna projects, towers going up. So we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight. So with that, let me turn it over to our boss, Tom W5KUB, and we're all set now. So yeah, take it away, Tom.
All right, hey, thank you, Katie, for opening the show tonight and everything. You need to do it every week. You need to do that. That way, I don't have to worry about it.
I know, but I always realize I look down on my cheat and I'm like, oh, I forgot that. Oh, I forgot that. Or oh well.
You didn't forget anything.
That's all right.
You didn't forget anything. So anyway, hey, welcome everybody out there. We're glad to have you tonight, man, and. Got a few neat things to talk about tonight, and we're gonna have a good time. We'll be opening the Zoom for our viewers out there to join us a little later in the show. Let's jump around the room here and let's see. Alan is out driving. They're making him work now since he can get out. The pandemic must be getting a little better because he's on the road now. Bill will be with us a little later tonight, I think. Probably around 9 o'clock he might check in. Let's jump up there to, let's see what Glenn has got going. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, how's it going? First off, I want to say something. David, in the chat room, please no Braves scores. I'm DVRing it, and I'm not watching it, and it's either here or there, and I'd rather be there, but I need to be here. So please, no more Brave scores for a little while anyway.
You can just keep up with MLB.com on your phone, and we'll just, because we're still
I'll just sit here and watch, and you can just kick me when you need me to say something.
There we go.
Or just
only you to really kick him. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
So are you watching on your telephone?
So we can have a kick button.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
A remote boot kick, yeah.
All right, man. Let's see.
But yeah, it's actually going to get cold here this weekend.
It is. It's going to get down really cold. In fact, we're already starting to see terrible winter set in. It's 49 degrees here tonight.
I think that was our high today.
Yeah.
No, we didn't even get that high today.
It's 49. It's 49 tonight already. It's probably dropping.
I think that's like 41 maybe.
Man, it may drop a couple more degrees, but so that's going to be tough. Okay. Well, hey, I was just looking through some old pictures earlier today, and I'm a home brewer. I like to build home brew stuff, and I like to use used junk and old parts and just whatever I can find, And I've got a little project I built a few years ago, and I thought I'd show it to you guys. Maybe some of you guys may want to try to duplicate it, build you ones. They're real easy to do. Works very well. Coax nowadays costs a lot of money, and especially if you get high quality coax that particularly can handle higher power. You're talking, I don't know, Dwayne, you probably know more than me. What's maybe $1 a foot at least?
That would be cheap.
That's
$1
cheap.
a foot would be cheap.
Yeah.
Good coax. It's upwards of $1.52 to $2 a foot. Now,
So
I got a friend that has some that I keep wanting to get my hands on. He does some 3.5-inch heliacs.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Well, that's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
That'll
The
be fun to
connectors-
play with.
the
All right.
connectors on the ends are over $1,000 each, just
Yeah.
the connectors.
Well, I won't be using any of that, So yeah, okay, $1.50, $2 a foot, for some good cable. And, like for instance, from my shack here out to my antenna farm, I go underground, and it's 130 feet out there. And so it can get expensive to run a lot of coax out there. Plus, I think I've got a 2-inch conduit that's buried from the shack out there. You can't get a whole bunch of big coax cables in a 2-inch pipe. So anyway, if you want to save some money, you can put in a remote antenna switch out there. And a lot of people have, a lot of different companies sell these. You can get them on eBay in different places. But MFJ has one. It's an 8-position remote antenna switch. You see the top half there mounts out at the antenna, and then a little control box there mounts in your radio shack there, and you just select which antenna you want. You run one coax out, and you select up to 8 different antennas there. So that's pretty good. Now the thing is, that one right there, that MFJ 8 port, that's an RCS10. That sells for about $250. It's still cheaper than running probably 4 runs of coax out there. So that's about $250. Now I looked at DX Engineering today, and they've got several out there, several different models out there. There's an 8 port there, again similar to the MFJ one, and they've got 3 or 4 models of this specific one here. And they go anywhere from $400 to $650 for a remote antenna switch. And that just seems a little high to me, but I'm sure they've got a lot of intelligence and stuff built in it. And the one I'm going to show you tonight I put together is pretty dumb, but it does the very same thing, and it was fun building. So let me show you what I have here. First of all, I don't throw anything away. If you look at, probably everybody's junk box from the internet days has some kind of AB switch, just an AB switch, or this is for, I guess, RS-232 probably. But they also make it.
Those are for the old Centronics.
Oh, the printers or something?
That's those 30-pin Centronics connectors.
So these boxes are real popular. Most people just throw them away. So you can see I've got a second one here that I've already done something with. So anyway, I take a box like this, and we're going to make our controller out of it. As you saw here, the MFJ and the DX Engineering had that little controller right there. We made our own little controller. I don't know how the green screen's going to work here, but let's see if I can do this. Bam. No. Anyway, so I've got me a switch right here. So I got a little power switch here. And I just put me a rotary switch in here. And I can select 1 through 7 antennas. This is not an 8, this is a 7. And I power it with 12 volts. A little wall wart that, I've got a box of probably 300 or 400 of them. 12 volts, 10 volts, 20 volts, whatever you got. That's the fun in building this. And if you notice right here, I have an RJ45 jack. Let's see if I can hold it up here. An RJ45 jack. Now, that is how I bring the cable out of it. I've got tons and reels and tons of Cat 5 cable. Now, if you build one of these, you could put you a terminal strip on there and go the trouble to put 8 wires under 8 screws. But I like being able to just to take a 100-foot Ethernet cable, and just plugging it in here. So when I pulled my coax out there, I ran me a couple Ethernet cables out through my underground cable. So this is my control box I built. I got some pictures I'll show you in a minute. Now, to get to the the real main part of the project, look, here it is. Now, if you look at this, this is a military box. You can see the clips on the end here. They're little spring clips, and it's got a weather seal inside it. And this was some type of just surplus box that I had, in the junk box area. So I took it and I built me a 8-position antenna switch in here with or 7-position with relays. So I got some pictures and I'll go through and just briefly discuss it, let you know what I did there. So let's go to the first picture here. First of all, hey, relays. I bought relays on eBay. I think I bought a dozen of them for $1 a piece or something like that. And I took the cover off and I modified them. Took the cover off, and you can see I put a short across the end back there, so I could use both arms that swing to give me a little bit better contacts. And these are really high power contacts on the relays right here. So I got me a dozen relays, probably for about $12, and put the cover back on it. And then let's see, there we go. There's the panel. I don't have these in any order here, so we're going to kind of jump around here, but I had to drill holes in this panel. And that was the hardest part, drilling holes. And you can see they're not, spaced exactly the same all the way around, but that's the thing about when I homebrew something, I just want it to work and try to keep it simple. So, I ordered some, let's see, I ordered me some SO239s. And I'm not sure if I got a picture.
You had to order SO239?
Well, I got some, but you know what?
Oh, that's about 5 demerits right there, Tom.
Well, hey, these probably cost me less than $1 a piece. So, now we're up to about $15 on this thing.
For a man that throws nothing away, you have none of those?
Well,
No.
I'm trying to save time. I probably could have taken out connectors off old projects in the junk box, but I thought, hey, I'm retired now. I don't have much time left, so let me just get some new ones here. Let me get some new ones so I can just put them on in there. So, I ordered that. Oh, I think, hey, 35 cents. I ordered the little 12-volt.
Why don't you just hire the kid down the street to solder it up for you?
Yeah, to do what? Solder them in for me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the AB switch box right there, and we just strip it out, and you can see the back there. It already had, this was an RJ45 switch, AB switch, so it already had an RJ jack in it right there. So I left that jack in there, and let's see. Let me just, hey, knobs. You got to have your junk knob box. So look, didn't even buy a knob.
All those knobs, but no 239s.
I had a few 239s, but I didn't have to buy a knob. What is this picture here? Oh, that's a little template I laid out of the front here for the control box. And after I stripped the control box out, I left one of the RJ45 jacks on the back, and you can see the 8 wires right there. Now, the nice thing about the 8 wires it makes it real simple to control 7 relays. We got one common, and you got one wire for 7 relays. So that's why I put 7 connectors on here. I can switch 7 antennas. This is kind of, what we're looking at here. You got your control lines coming in, and your selector switch will power one of 7 relays. And then you got a single coax coming in, and that will switch through one of 7 relays. So that's kind of the schematic of what we're trying to do here. Let's see what we got. Again, the template, I tried my best to lay things out straight. normally when over the years as I would homebrew things and I'd drill a hole, sometimes they wouldn't be quite centered, and the finished product looked a little weird. Stuff wasn't really lined up, so I tried my best there to get them on some grid lines and get everything, straight. So there's some parts, we got off of eBay. Let's see, there they are again. You can see I've got holes drilled for the LEDs. Now, I didn't buy the LEDs. I think I already had plenty of LEDs. Let's see. Again, there's the Ethernet jack on the back of the box right there, and I put the little 12-volt power jack on there. Again, here's the front. The LEDs, just drill a hole just big enough for the LEDs, slide it through, and put a little adhesive or something on the back just to hold it in there, and they work great, man. When you turn that rotary switch from 1 to 7, you got 1 to 7 lights coming on, and that's going to send power down one of 7 different wires and select one of 7 different relays out there. I told you I couldn't drill holes just perfectly straight. Again, this box already had a couple holes in it, so I tried to make use of some of the holes that were already in it. Now, this box is weatherproof, with the exception now of the holes I put in it, and I guess you could probably seal that with something like silicone or something if you wanted to. But just like when I have remote pieces of gear like this outside, I have them under some type plastic container or inside of something to keep them dry. Let's see, what is this? Oh, that's the box right there. That's the box with the, let me see if I can rotate that. Pull that down, rotate it just a little bit for you guys. Let's see what that looks like. There we go. There's the box. You can see kind of the bare box with the SO239 holes already drilled in it, getting ready to put them together there. There it is again.
Knowing what that box probably used to carry, you probably could have drilled the holes with what it carried.
With what it carried? I don't understand.
Looks like a 50 cal.
Oh, no, this had some type of switches on the front. It was some type of communications box. Well, let's see what else we got here. So now my pictures are all out of sync here, but we're going to just flip through them and I'll talk about them a little bit. Might look a little messy, but you can see each of the SO239s connects to a relay, and each one of those relays connects back to the common SO239 in the center there. That doesn't look too good. That looks a little better right there. You can see the Ethernet jack that I put on there, the RS, RS45 connector. RJ45 connector I put on there. And basically, I just stole that out of something. I didn't buy it, guys. I took it out of just a piece of junk. I drilled me a square hole there, Glen. I drilled me a square hole, and I put that plastic RJ45 jack in there, and I glued it on the back side, with something like JB Weld or something like that actually held it in place there. That's not a very good picture there.
Hey, Tom, Chris wants to know what you filled your open holes with.
What I drilled to what?
What did you fill your open holes with?
What did I fill the open holes with?
Yeah.
Well, let me look here. Let's see. Well, I'm actually looking at the device here. I don't have any open hole. Well, let's see. I probably do.
Must have spotted.
Yeah, I do have a couple open holes, like you can see right here and here. You can probably see something there. I think what I did, I put some tape on the back or something, and I think I filled those in with something like JB Weld, which basically turns into steel, and it'll actually harden that. And then you could actually grind that if you wanted to. So you can see I don't really have any other holes there. I've got my RJ45 jack here, and then everything else is pretty much sealed. The box is pretty sealed. It seals pretty tight. Yeah. And you can see around the edge, it's got a rubber, let's see, around the edge it has a rubber gasket around it. So when this thing goes in, it fits very tight. It's really.
I've seen some of those at Hamfest or swap meets. I bet you can pick one up somewhere along the way like that, or if you have an Army Navy store.
Yeah.
Are those still around?
So it does fit very tight. There we go. And then of course these spring clips.
Harbor Freight.
The spring clips are there we go. So the spring clips are typical latches that you'd see, and they'll just hook around it and then pull it down, and they're tight too. And that really seals that. It's a good solid box, and so that was probably built for about $20 based on just junk that I had around, and I like building stuff out of scrap parts and things like that. It may not look like one of the store-bought ones, but it still does it. And that this box right here actually will switch up to 7 coaxes outside. And I built another box here, just playing with it. I was playing with some quarter wave verticals. I had a quarter wave for like 40, 20, 15, 10, 12, just a single wire, and I've got a buried radio system in the ground. So I built up this little box, and it will replace this box. This box switches coax, and this one, plug the Ethernet into the jack here, and I can switch up to, again, 7. I can switch up to 7 different outputs here, like vertical antennas. That was something I was kind of playing with a while back. Those antennas are down now, but anyway, I just thought that you might like to do that. This is something that is so easy to build. It doesn't require alignment. You almost can't make a mistake with it, and it works great. And, you might say, well, what's the SWR when you put it on there? It's minimal. It's almost nothing. And particularly down at the HF frequencies, you're not going to see it. I have not measured insertion loss. Maybe I'll get with Alan on a show one night. We'll try to measure some insertion loss, but it is going to be so small at HF, you won't even know it's there. So anyway, that's kind of one of the projects that I wanted to bring to you tonight. I'd like to bring more projects to you. So if any of you guys have ideas about projects or something you built, we'd love to have you on here. So,
Tom, I've got a little bit of a question about that whole thing.
All right.
What do hams do? We communicate wirelessly, and yet you're running Ethernet cable under the ground out back to switch relays.
I am.
If you can find it, you can build one that's wireless.
Yeah. Well, I thought a lot about that, Glenn. I thought about that, and I considered that. But then
you can even go on eBay and get the board pre-made.
I started to do that, but then I got on the internet and I saw that we're having an EMP attack is imminent in the next couple years. And an EMP attack would wipe out the wireless system you're talking about. So we've gone old school here. We've gone with wire.
Well, you could use vacuum tubes for the switches.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Glenn, talking about wireless. Hey, let's talk wireless a minute. And Glenn lives in Mississippi, and some people think Mississippi's a little slower than, or not quite as good as maybe a different state. Sometimes they talk about it, but you know what, Glenn, it's proven. You guys, internet-wise and communication-wise, like for instance for wireless, you guys were well ahead of the curve because.
But All right. What kind of speed is your internet?
Well,
20 miles away from me.
my internet is 650 megs down.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
The difference when you cross that state line, you hit the information dirt road. So yes, we had wireless long before you, but we're still running, 1 megabit if we're lucky.
Yeah, but you guys, I understand. I talked to a guy the other day, and then we were in this argument about how we had it before you had it, and everything like that. We had internet before, and I forget how the conversation went. I think we've discussed this. We talked about. We've got a lot of wire up, and even got wire buried, and that proves that we were on the internet and communications. And then, for a test, they started digging down in Mississippi. They dug down in the ground, and they never did find any wire. Like they didn't get any wire, and it proves it that you guys had wireless before.
Yeah, we had wireless long before you. The problem is we haven't gotten the speed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tom, they were using a shovel. If you give an inexperienced backhoe operator the chance to go loose, he'll find every cable in the
He'll
backyard.
find something, right? Yeah, yeah, he'll find something for sure, man. Now, hey, I
was thinking while you were doing that, Tom, I was thinking that if you had a pair of Arduinos with those 7 bits that you got going out there, you could switch 127 of those things on and off.
Well,
7 bits.
I probably could, but our goal there was KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And that's the way we went with it. I've got one of the little MFJ 4 conductor switches, and I rearranged the shack here one day. And, usually the little power packs, you get the little 12-volt power packs, you got hundreds of them laying in a junk box. Usually you can pick up anything and use it, this kind of stuff. And I plugged it into the MFJ one, the 4-channel MFJ switch. It wouldn't work. And so I got the book out. And I found out why. They use an AC adapter. And the reason they do that is for switching. They switch some relays with AC, they switch the other relays with plus and minus DC, and then they switch another relay with minus and plus DC. They reverse it. So by using the AC in there, they're actually able to switch another unit, and they ran that through a bias T down a coax. So didn't even have to run a cable out there. They used a bias T and coax. Now that brings me to another point, Glenn. You can't totally get away from wireless. I mean, you're going to try to eliminate my coax cable? Can you figure out a way to transfer 1,000 watts from our rig out to the antenna wireless?
No, I mean, you're still going to have coax, but you don't need to run that Ethernet cable underground like you did.
Yeah.
Seems like you guys are about to, put your boxing gloves on here. It's like
yeah. Let's go.
We might have to.
There is one thing that you do have that I don't have. We have discovered that GPS obviously does not work in Mississippi. Because I was down in the Delta and told it to go home.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I am in the middle of a cornfield. And there is no apparent way out other than the way I came.
Oopsie.
Well.
And it kept telling me to go deeper into the cornfield.
Well, it's just a shortcut.
Yeah. It's a shortcut.
All right.
You told it to go the quickest way. You didn't say by road.
Right.
Obviously. But apparently,
you got to check, make sure you didn't have it for walking.
Right.
But GPS we can't do the math here in Mississippi, so we can't handle the GPS triangulation stuff.
I asked where the ferrites were. I don't have any ferrites in my 7-position switch box. No ferrites in there, but I do have capacitors bypassing the 7 lines coming in. Hey, there's a ferrite right here on this one.
Yeah. Now you don't need the somebody also mentioned diodes. you don't need the diodes
No.
because the diodes are there for the reverse voltage as the coil releases.
It's there. If I had a transistor, to drive the
transistor, you'd be
relay, then I
worried
need a
about the reverse
diode, or the back EMF would kill my transistor.
Right. But since it's all switch and
All
hardware,
switch.
you don't need to worry about
Don't need it. Yep.
Discrete switching doesn't need diodes. Right.
Right.
Let's see. Looking in the chat room, see if there's anything else we missed here. We could,
optical isolators in, you don't need a diode either.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Glenn, I got to get me some of that Flex Seal. I hear you can use it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they put lighthouses back together with that stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
But I mean, I swear by the JB Weld as well. That's my stuff.
I swear by duct tape. Not even NASA can improve duct tape.
Yeah. All right. Well, some interesting comments in the chat room. I'll just have to read them later. If you guys see something during the show and we want to comment, just let us know. A lot going on there. Okay. Well, hey. Anyway, that was a segment on a little antenna switcher that you can build out there if you want to. I'd really love to try to start getting back to maybe every week or two some new project that we build. So next week it'd be Katie's turn for a project that she's building.
well, that's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen.
I'm
Just come in and
presently
say the
working
cat
on.
took your homework.
What are you working on, Dwayne?
I'm presently working on designs for actually not new designs, but just designs for power dividers made out of a piece of 1-inch square aluminum tubing, copper tubing on the inside, round copper tubing on the inside, for a 2 meter and 6 meter.
All right.
So we'll let you know how that goes. I've been
Okay.
back and forth with Alan on how to test those things. Tiny VNA, VNA.
You were talking about your 3-inch hardline earlier. Alan Wiener was talking about the other day up at WBCQ. They got the new 500,000 watt transmitter and the big antenna, and their hardline it's probably about 18 inches in diameter, and the center conductor is like a 2-inch copper pipe down the center. So now that can handle some power. Maybe we ought to just start thinking about building our own hardline.
There you go.
Well, I've seen where people have built it out of copper tubing for like through walls and stuff. Go through. They take a piece of 2.5-inch copper tubing and a piece of 3/4 copper tubing, build aluminum, or not aluminum, but UHMW spacers go in that. Had it down in connectors on each end. It was to go through a concrete block wall.
Yeah. Hey, I want to make a birthday announcement tonight. We got a birthday to a ham friend here in town, Max Gray, K1MAX. Max turned 87 years old today, and Max lives here in the area. I think he lives in Germantown, which is probably about 4 or 5 miles from my home here. But happy birthday, Max! If you're out there listening tonight, I just wanted to say hi to you there.
Happy birthday, Max.
All right, well, let's do this, and we'll be right back. Spice up your ham shack with Icon's IC705. This portable radio is perfect for staying in or venturing out and working your favorite bands this winter. Happy holidays from Icon. The IC705 is a perfect sidekick and QRP companion, base station, features, and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF bands and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. Some of the features include 4.3-inch touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall, sideband CW AM FM as well as full D-Star functions, has a micro USB connector, Bluetooth and WLAN, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. The HM243 speaker microphone comes standard. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional LC192 backpack. It has a special compartment for your IC705 and room for all your accessories. Our family of favorite ICOM amateur radios are also available this holiday season, and they make the perfect gift. Don't forget the 9700, the 9300, and the 7610 base stations, and the ID52A handheld coming soon. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, and we are back. Just want to remind everybody, next week is Ham Radio Veterans Day on Amateur Radio Roundup. Post your picture in our W5KUB Facebook group, and we're going to go over your pictures next week on the show. We'll have a little segment on that and see what else we can do. I think it's a neat time every year. I like doing that, and maybe we can have some veteran fun there.
Yeah. Dwayne and I were talking on the break there. That ICOM 9700, that's the VHF UHF one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, with the 1200 in it.
Yeah.
All mode.
Santa's going to be bringing me one of those, I hope.
Okay.
All right.
I'm trying to find something to do with the 1200 megahertz in Wyoming.
Now you might need that 3-inch. You might need that 3-inch hardline for that.
Yeah.
It may get a little iffy when you try to connect it to the antenna and rotate it up there. I
got access to 1 7/8 hardline, and I think that's going to be good enough.
Yeah, I think it'll work all right. Yeah. All right. Hey, okay. Well, guys, a lot of people followed us this week, and we launched our experimental balloon. W5KB 101. 100, we were going to try to break the glass ceiling with a homemade balloon. Nobody's really made a homemade balloon that will fly. You just can't find the material. It's not really available. NASA might have some, but it's really difficult. We did a lot of testing. You probably saw in our Facebook group. We did a lot of pressure testing. We've got spreadsheets that actually calculate, the gas and the cubic feet and the pressure at altitude and all those kind of things. And we've always, the last couple of balloons, we've always greatly exceeded the pressure the differential pressure that we would hit flying. But W5KB 100, the break the glass ceiling balloon, it actually ruptured somehow, and it had a leak at 38,000 feet. So it came down, and it came down near here. We've got the guys in Western Tennessee looking for it. We know about where it is. So just a few days later, we put together another system, and we launched 101, W5KB 101. And basically, it was a much larger balloon made out of the Mylar foil. During our testing, our original testing, we took the other balloon up to 19 inches of water column, which is really high, before it exploded. At altitude, we need somewhere around 4 inches of water column to be safe, and we went up to 19 inches, so that was really good. This last balloon we flew, the 101, again, we needed about 4 inches, but we wanted to test the balloon before we flew it. We did not want to. We didn't want to inflate it to explosion because we were going to fly it. But I wanted to inflate it enough to see the safety margin. So we know we needed 4 inches of water column on the manometer, and we gradually took it up, and I felt really confident at 8 inches. And boy, when we hit the 8-inch mark, the balloon exploded. And you can see again, here's the balloon, I think, right before it exploded. You can see it, the pressure was starting to build there. And so what we did, it exploded, and it took about 1 foot off the end. It was a very nice cut all the way around. It took 1 foot off, but that material was stretched on the end, so I cut another foot of it off. So we actually shortened that balloon by 2 feet, and we resealed it, and that's what we flew as W5KUB 101. We thought that it should stand the 4 inches of column of water, and obviously it sprung a leak. You can see it there under pressure. It was pretty tight right there. With those black things are straps holding it down to our table. And if you look at right in the center there, you'll see kind of a lighter color. That's not a strap. That's a splice that has connected 2 sheets of this mylar together. So that's a splice. During all the pressure testing, none of our splices or seams came loose. They all held stronger than the material itself. So we sent up 101. We don't know what happened to it. Again, at about 38,000 feet, almost the same altitude, it developed a rupture or leak, and it came down just south of Nashville, and people are starting to look for it right now. So we don't know exactly what's going on there, although, you know, when Chuck Yeager broke the faster than sound, they were fighting that demon up there, and that demon was always getting those people and crashing them and killing them. Well, they managed to figure out how to get past that demon, and now that demon has moved up to our balloon flights at 38,000. So that's what we're facing there. We're going to have another launch in about 3 or 4 days. We're gonna postpone our experimental try to build a balloon for a while. We're sinking these things way too fast, you know. And we have launched a lot of balloons over the last couple of years for the show. Our best balloon has gone around the world 3.5 times, 72 days. And then we had another balloon that went around, I think maybe 1.5 times around. But this is good flying weather. It's winter time. It's good flying weather because it's winter, and all the storms are below the equator. And storms are what kills you. So we're going to be flying this next launch. I've already got W5KUB 102 built. He's been testing over here. And he will be flying with an SBS balloon. So it's an expensive balloon. The balloon alone costs about $180. So, you know, there'll be about, you know, in this flight, there'll be about 250, there'll be about $250 in this flight. So it's interesting to watch. You got this flight ready to go, got this balloon ready to go. You tie a $250 bill on the bottom of the string here, and you let it go. And then you wonder, okay, is it going to get at 38,000 and come down somewhere? Is it going to go to Alabama? Is it going to make it around the world once? Or is it going to make it around the world 7, 8, 9 times? There are some SBSs up there right now that are on their 8th trip around the world. So it's great flying weather right now. Wintertime is good. So we're going to step back, and we're just going to fly one for long duration, not try to break the altitude record, but to go back to our long duration Pico balloon flight, 43,000 feet. And we're going to try to stay in the air 90 days, 180 days. I think one of these balloons has actually stayed in the air, I don't remember. Bill can probably tell us in the chat room. Seems like one of these SBS balloons at one point had been in the air like 300 or 500 days, and it hadn't come down. What we learned when we first started flying these is about 1 out of 10. Our experience was, if you want to make it around the world, you got to fly 10 balloons. 1 out of 10 is going to make it, but we have flown many 10s, so we think we're going to do okay this time. So we're gonna go for it, and we think we're gonna have some fun with this one. So plan on this one staying up, and let's see, plan on this one staying up. I don't have any more pictures of it right here. Let's see.
Yeah, Bill in the chat room is saying that the longest was 33 times around the world, and up over 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years and 33 times around. So, we're not expecting that, although this is good flying time right now. And, Bill tells us this is perfect time. And Bill keeps emphasizing that if the month has an R in it, that's good months to fly. And we're going to get this thing up, and we're going to have some fun with it. We've got, let's see, there's... Well, that's basically what it looks like. We've gone with a 45-degree angle on two sides, and we've got redundant or two separate solar panels there. It can operate off either side of those. It doesn't have to have but one side to operate. It can operate off either side. Again, the 45-degree angle is to allow us to pick up the low sun. Sometimes the sun doesn't get up higher than about 20 or 30 degrees above the horizon. So you can see by slanting our solar panels at a 45, we're much more in the sun. And Bill just mentioned last week, some of these, if they get up and fly north, if they fly up like Greenland or north of England and places, the maximum sun angle might only hit 12 degrees max. So at 12 degrees would almost be out of range of this one even working if it gets up that high. Now, so we're going to be flying, we've got different modes. We've got CW running on it. It has a CW ID on it, W5KUB. And then it's going to transmit QRSS, which is a very, very low speed code that you can get a program to copy. It's like Whisper or whatever, but it actually copies, and you can see the waterfall. You can see the W, da, and then the 5, did. You can actually see the code on the screen. So we'll have CW. If you want to listen by ear, we've got QRSS on there. We've got Whisper on there to give us our information, and Bill has also incorporated a JT9 on there, so it will also transmit JT9 in the last couple minutes of a 10-minute cycle. The Whisper is a modified Whisper where it transmits 2 times in a 10-minute period, and the Whisper database collects that information. And then the Python script will then take that information and put it together, and then then we report it up to APRS, and that will get to a grid square on Whisper. A grid square like Echo Mike 55 is a pretty big grid square. I think a grid square is maybe 200 miles by maybe 100 miles or something. Very big, 100 by 200, maybe larger. And then each grid square is broken down into mini grid squares inside. So by sending the two things of data through Whisper and combining that, we can get it down to a 6-digit grid square instead of a 4. And that gets us into about a 2 mile by 3 mile box. So it gets it very close. So, the one we lost south of Jackson this week, it's in a box 2 miles by 3 miles. That's not easy to search, especially if there's forest and stuff in there. I know, Glenn, we went down about a year ago and searched for one down in Mississippi. It was in a 2 mile by 3 mile box. And I mean, that is a lot of territory to try to cover. And we were actually lucky. A local had picked it up down there and had contacted us. So anyway, that's where we are on our flights. So I think either Friday or Saturday we're gonna go for the long duration. So everybody stay tuned.
Yeah, Bill is saying that a 69 by 113 miles is for a standard 4-digit grid square.
69 by what?
113.
Okay, that's pretty big. That's a lot of square miles.
And Bill says that KUB 101 reported from the ground. It's in a 2 by 3 mile box just north of Columbia, Tennessee.
Yeah, I've been watching it today to see if it report again. It did report about. Let's see. I guess he's talking about the day it landed.
Probably.
It did report about 4 hours later. You know, I thought it went down at like about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there was another report we saw later that came in about 4 o'clock. So 3 hours later, it did transmit. It showed it down on the ground. It showed it at 500 and something feet. I think the average terrain out there, I looked it up. The average terrain is somewhere 500, 600, 700 feet. So it's there on the ground or it's in a tree. And if it can get some sun, it'll start transmitting again. And, it might be found. And two, you saw the makeup of the balloons. They're pretty large with, they're silver. So they should be seen very well. I've got a picture. Let's see. Well, that's some of the material. Let's see. It's very silver colored, and these things were like, this thing was like probably 12 foot square. It was a pretty big piece of a balloon out there. You can see there it is right there. Hopefully somebody will find it. Now, we did not put our name or address or anything on there yet. I'm contemplating whether I need to start putting Glen's email on there. So if we lose one, they can contact Glen. But I'm trying to avoid having my email address on these when they land on a Russian air base or maybe land in Tehran or somewhere like that,
Yeah. Have them take me out.
So you wouldn't mind, though, right? You don't mind.
Well, if we use your logic about being a short timer, I'm like, yeah, go ahead, put my name down.
I had a guy that told me that's, I won't say who he was, but he's big into the ballooning, and he lives out in California, and he said one day this black limousine pulled up to his house, and 4 Chinese guys got out, and they came up and knocked on the door. And he said he didn't answer the door, and they left. Yeah. Oh well. Hey, let's open the. It's about 9 o'clock, getting close to 9 o'clock. Let's just open the Zoom for anybody who wants to join us tonight, and see if we can get some other conversation started on those kind of things. Let's see.
We need to go. I'm working on a gift for Brett this weekend. Mom and I are headed east. So I gotta finish that sucker up for baby shower.
Okay, Katie.
Everybody, I'll see you next week.
All right, Katie. Well, thanks for being with us tonight. Glad to see you again. Your internet is better tonight. It's still not perfect, but it's better.
It's never going to be perfect unless we get fiber in here.
Fiber's in 2 blocks of us.
Eventually.
Is that right? Oh man.
All right. See everybody.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see you guys. Good night.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna post the link in the chat room here. All you gotta do is click on this.
There's gigabit fiber 1 block over from me, and all I got is 25
meg. I can't get fiber here in Memphis. It's not available. It's just not available. I'm happy with my cable at the 650. When I had 200, that was fine. You can't. 200 is fine, and we got 400, and then we got 650. They keep upping it. All right,
I wouldn't find 50 or 100, but
we just listed the Zoom link. There we go. We've got our first person there. Let's see who that is. That's Carla. That's Charlie. Carlos. I don't know if that's Carlos or Charlie. I guess here in the U.S. it's Charlie.
Well, since his name on the tag says Carlos, I'm going to assume he's Carlos.
Well, but in the U.S. I think he's Charlie.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask him that.
But he's not in the U.S.
Well, he is on this end. He is on this end.
Now, we had this wireless discussion earlier.
Oh, yeah.
He's not wired.
Let's see. All right, everybody, click on that link and join us. We'd love to have you on here with us tonight.
Actually, somebody in the chat room is what I need is uplink speed. Believe it or not, I've only got like 5 meg up, and I'm quite happy with my uplink.
Yeah. All right,
I just have to make sure that the cats aren't watching their cat web shows.
Yeah, I haven't been able to read the chat. There's a lot of interesting things in the chat. I kind of miss out on it during the show, so I kind of count on you and Katie and everybody else to, bring up something if it comes up in the chat. Yeah. All right, Charlie, you there? There he is.
Yeah.
He's there.
Hello.
All right. Now, Charlie, are you Charlie or are you Carlos? I need to get that straight.
No, I'm Charlie or Carlos. It depends.
What's it depend on?
Yeah, it's really funny because my name is Carlos and my brother's name is Juan.
Juan Carlos.
Yes,
that's common.
Well, Juan Carlos is my dad, so he was very
all right.
Not very inspired.
That's a very common name, Juan Carlos. Yeah.
Juan Carlos, and he called my elder brother Juan, and he called Carlos.
So, do you have a Guido in your family?
No.
No Guido.
No, thankfully, I don't like that name.
Oh man.
Well, but I don't know why. I think my dad, I don't know if he traveled to US or something, and he started calling us John and Charlie for some reason.
Yeah.
And we started going. That was when we were really young kids, and we started going to school, and everybody called us John and Charlie, and at school. So it was when we got out to school and into university or into when we became grown-ups, that some people called us by our name, Carlos or Juan, and others still called us Charlie and John. So
okay, all right.
But the interesting thing is that my younger sister, she's already called Elizabeth. So she's not Isabel. She's called Elizabeth.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that's the story behind it.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We'll say hello to Bill, WZ1L, up in Massachusetts. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, Tom. Nice to see you again. Did you get my note there on that local that upgraded extra?
I saw that. I do not know him.
Well, he's no ham. He doesn't even have a radio.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, most people in the Memphis area don't even know about this show. So, I don't know.
Well, I told him about the show, and I told him to log in, and that we'd give him a shout-out. So,
all right, let's give him a shout-out. He passed the test. He lives in Germantown. He passed the test today, and now he needs to get a radio.
Right. KN4, Oscar November Victor, Joseph Plunk.
That sounds, hey, man, I'm an old-timer. That sounds like a novice call to me.
Well, I don't know. He lives over there by the Dogwood Elementary School.
Yeah.
You know where that is.
Yeah. Now, you understand what I said? It sounded like a novice call. KN?
Well, I don't know. This is what they're throwing out there
I know.
at the FCC.
They're up to the KNs.
Yeah. What was that, Glenn?
they are up to giving out the KN
Is that right?
call.
Well, when we all got our license back many years ago, if you had an N, if the second letter was an N, that means you had a novice license.
Yep.
You were WN5 KUB or KN5 KUB, and then once you upgraded from novice to say general architect, that N turned into an A.
Or a B.
WN5 KUB became WA5 KUB.
Yeah, or the B.
Yeah.
I got lucky and got an A with mine. But
If it ran out of A's, then of course the B's would be coming in and all that,
Yeah.
Well, in 1981, when I moved from Midway Island with KA60WC to Alexandria, Virginia, you had to work portable if you were not in your home region at the time. The FCC still had that, so I was, on CW in the Pentagon, K60WC portable forum, and this major come in and said, "Young man, you do not have to do that." He says, "Get a copy of your license." He says, "Fill out the 605, send it to them in up there in Greenbelt." He says they will fix that for you. And I says, "Oh, will they?" Yeah. 3 weeks later, I got a call, K4 WWG. So I was at the end.
Yeah, well, they would fix it for you. Back then, when you changed from one region like a 5 to a 4, you had to take a 4 call. Now you keep your call when you move to different regions, and which is kind of neat. I'm a 5. I mean, Arkansas. Mississippi right below us is a 5, and Arkansas, where I was born, is a 5, right across the river. But since I'm over in Tennessee is a 4.
Yeah,
So,
I was a 4 all of my life until I moved to Mississippi.
So I don't know. I kind of wanted just to keep my call, and
I didn't want mine.
Same here. We not long ago you had to change your complete call sign if you move between regions.
Yeah.
Inside Uruguay, which is really small. But you had to change your call sign, and nowadays you don't need to. You keep your call sign.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings about that because if you're trying to work somebody and you hear a 7 call, which is kind of hard for us to get, and you're jumping on it and you find out, oh yeah, I moved to Tennessee 6 years ago. Wonderful. I think we even had a KL7 call here in the Memphis area. But
that's Alaska. That's Alaska.
Well, see, and used to, you could tell, man, when we were, back in the old days, if you heard a KL7, this guy's in Alaska. Yeah. But now that you can keep your call anywhere you go, more than likely he's going to be in Miami, Florida.
Yeah. Anyway, while we're talking local here, just wanted to throw this out here. This weekend, the Tupelo Amateur Radio Club is having their Papa Jack's Trade Day, Saturday from 9 to noon at the Tupelo Farmers Market. And yes, I am going to be there with my stuff trying to help my new radio fund.
Oh, man, I ought to go to that. So it's, okay, let's see, who's, somebody needs to mute their, let's see, I bet you that is.
Yes, WB5B needs to mute or turn his speakers down.
Is that who it is? WB5B, please mute your, please mute your video on the show. It's feeding back.
Video on the show is feeding back.
So, Glenn, tell me more about this Tupelo thing. I might even go down there. That's pretty close.
Tell me more about the Tupelo thing.
All right, I'm gonna mute WB5B. Here we go. I got it muted. Okay.
Yeah,
WB5B. If you can hear me, you need to mute your video. That's
audio.
We're getting feedback.
Yeah, it's just a 3-hour swap fest.
Yeah.
They used to have it over near the airport, and this year they moved to the Tupelo's Farmers Market. So, with it only being 3 hours, I thought that'd be a great thing to do. You know, get out of the house and go for a little drive in the morning.
It's how long does it take to get to Tupelo? A couple hours?
Hour and a half.
Yeah. Man, by the time I have breakfast and get dinner, it'll be over with.
See, I'm always up. I'm up at 5 every morning, so this would be like, normal work day. Just get up and go to have fun instead of going to work.
Yeah. Let's get Bill in
It's
here.
a little small, parking lot type swap meet, but hey, it's hams, people to talk to, stuff to buy, stuff to sell.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, I don't know. I may show up. I may get down there. Don't know.
I don't know. You're going to have to get there early because it's 9 to noon. And when they say 9 to noon, they're packing up and leaving the parking lot by 11.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's true.
Heck, all the good deals happen between 7 and 7:15.
Well, yeah, you get there early, like 6 o'clock, and then you can be the first one around the road. And
If you bring all of your stuff in boxes and you get there about 7, people will come over and start wanting to go through the boxes. And if you just say, you have to put that stuff on the table for me to be able to go through the box, somebody else will set your stuff up for you just so they can go through your boxes. There's a trick to doing this. The only problem is you still have to pack it up yourself to go home.
Hello, Bill. Bill Brown, are you there? VA3OR, good evening. Well, Bill, you're muted.
Yeah.
I see you there. Oh.
Yeah, he's still. It takes a good 30 seconds to get in, and for Bill being in the back hills of Alabama, it takes him an extra minute and a half.
Yeah, I think he's on a drop off your network down here in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am on the back dirt road of the internet, about as far off the road as you can get. All right. But tonight I should be on high speed internet.
WB5B, are you there? Okay, well, he unmuted his mic again, and he's causing feedback. WB5B, hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, please mute your video of the show.
The audio.
The audio shows feeding back.
He's probably playing the show in addition to the...
No, I turned it off. I turned the show off.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, you were... Well, no, we're still getting it.
Now his speakers are. He's not muting or whatever when he's speaking.
Okay, so his mic must be close to his speakers then. Okay. Well, hey, WB5B, glad to have you. Where are you?
Deep South Texas, right on the Mexican border, near the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, Texas. Okay.
80 degrees here right now.
Yeah. Well, we're having a terrible cold front through here. It's 48 right now.
It's 46 down here.
Looks like the further south we go, it gets colder, but he's warm
Yeah, I'm
down
only
there.
10 miles south and it's a 2-degree drop.
All right. Well, I don't think I've met WB8B. We'll say hello. Is it WB5B? Say hello to you. And I don't know if you've been watching the show any, or if you're a newcomer to our show. Let us know how you found us. There he is. Well. Okay. All right, Charlie. What do you got? What do you got going?
Charlie, I used to have one of those.
For your imperial people, here we have the strange temperatures you have.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna
That
mute
would
W.
be
I'm gonna mute W5B. I'm gonna mute him
80.
again because he's causing feedback here. I think his microphone is too close to speakers, or maybe he could just turn his speakers down a little bit. So, Charlie, is that your conversion table right there?
Yeah. Real-time conversion table.
Real time, huh?
Charlie, I used to have that exact thermometer.
It's really nice. This was my father's. He had it in the shack, so I got it for myself.
Yeah, the one I had was from the 1970s.
Maybe it's also from the 1970s.
That's a real classic.
All right. Hey, I don't know if it was Colin or someone from Australia always was asking me about the telephone lines for the show. And, I think I told him last time that I'd fix it, but I forgot to fix it. So we have telephone number, let's see, wait a minute. I don't even have the phone line brought up. You can get on Zoom. Anyway, as far as the telephone, if we bring the telephone back up, the phone numbers were always there. It was just white letters on white background. That was our problem. So once we fix that, you can see the numbers now. But hey, Zoom is just as good there. Click on that Zoom link in the chat room and join us. Don't be shy.
Yeah, he was asking for the Zoom link again, so I got it in the chat room.
Good. Yeah, that was an invisible link. Actually, if you could take a lemon and put a little lemon juice and kind of rub it on your screen, it would come in. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? That invisible link?
Oh yeah, we had that invisible link with the lemon juice and all that fun stuff. Oh man,
I guess. Did you have a secret decoder ring from anywhere?
No.
You didn't have one of those?
No, but that was back in the day when you could get all sorts of cool chemicals from the local drugstore for your chemistry set.
Yeah. And oh man.
Actually do real things. Nowadays it's one little dot of colored water, I think it is. The lawyers got to it. But said you can't do that anymore. But we make rocket fuel and fireworks, and we did all kinds of stuff. Nowadays, the Homeland Security would come and haul the kid away.
Well, I remember something in the chemistry kit. It was red color, phenolphthalein, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that's all there is in the kits nowadays.
Yeah.
But in the good old days, you could actually make rocket fuel if you wanted, and gunpowder. Right? And actually, we could go directly to the drugstore and buy a big box of sulfur, a big box of powdered charcoal.
Yeah.
We could buy potassium nitrate.
Yeah.
Saltpeter, I guess.
Let me tell you, when I was growing up, when my chemistry set, I used to experiment. I'd mix stuff up and I'd give worms shots, man. I don't know what I was expecting them to do, grow legs or something.
When I was a kid, I would sign. They had a place called Wumco Chemical, kind of like the Acme for Roadrunner, right? Just to say that there was a real life company called Wumco, and you could get any chemical you wanted. You send off for it, put some cash money in an envelope, sign that you were over 16, and a few days later, there would be this big box of chemicals, and it was good stuff. I mean, I used to make my own fireworks, my own rocket engines. Nowadays, like I say, if you tried to order that kind of stuff now, they'd haul you away.
Hey, I was probably 13 years old.
I was 14 at the time. But
listen. I was probably 13. Chemistry set. I could go down to my local drugstore and I would buy a syringe and needles.
Oh yeah.
They would sell it. They would sell it to you, and I would mix chemicals up and I'd shoot the worms and stuff with it. But
Everything you needed was at the local drugstore.
I never made any discoveries with any. I didn't cure cancer or anything like that. I think the worms probably died. I probably going to be in trouble with PETA now. Is a worm up? Is that? Let's see. Let me get Colin in here. Is a worm an animal? I might get in trouble with PETA.
Yes.
Oh man. All right, we got Colin in here, I think, down in VK land.
I mean, if your options are animal, vegetable, mineral, then yes, a worm is an animal.
Hello, Colin. How are you doing? VK5COL. Welcome. We'll see how our signal's coming in down under. Hey, if you're listening. Oh, sorry. Who was that? Was that Colin?
No, not yet.
No, okay. Hey, let me just make a quick announcement. Hey guys, if you are out there listening on International Shortwave on WBCQ 7490, please send us an email. We're glad to have you. This show is about ham radio, amateur radio, and we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. tom@w5kub.com. Send us an email. Tell us where you are. We'll give us a signal report. We'll get you a QSL card from the shortwave station, and love to hear from you. Also, if you have not done it yet, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube, our YouTube video. Hit the subscribe button. That will greatly help us to bring our rankings of our show up. We really need you to do that. And let's see, what else we got going here? Hit the like button if you like the show. So that's all I got to say. Colin, are you there, Colin?
Yep, if you can hear me.
There he is. We hear you. You're doing good.
First time I've ever used Zoom.
Is that right? Well, you're doing good.
I've got no idea if the camera even works on this computer. I've never used the camera on this one before either.
Well, you're doing good. You're coming in 5'9" plus 25 over here into Tennessee tonight.
That's good.
All right. Was it you that were asking about the phone numbers, or was that someone else in Australia?
Yep, that was me.
Oh, okay. The numbers that were always there, it was just white letters on white background.
Okay.
Hey, Bill's eating a Fig Newton.
Yes, he is.
Bill's eating a Fig Newton. I kind of like Fig Newton. I like more the outside than the inside of the Fig Newton,
He's a strawberry tonight there, Tom.
Strawberry, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Wally World.
Well, I'm going to give me some popcorn when the show's over, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. I have to walk down the cookie aisle and just say, no, never mind. I love Fig Newtons.
We got Mike in here, VK2EMK. He's in there with us. So we're our signal. We must be really getting down into that area of the world down here.
Yeah, band's open.
The bands have really been opening. I mean, I listened to this yesterday, and
when you have a contest, bands open magically.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, of course.
Isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, because people don't use the bands otherwise.
I mean, I couldn't find a blank spot anywhere on 40 through 10 meters, man. It was just, they were everywhere. Right. So that's what we need to do.
Fantastic.
Have a contest.
Yeah.
This would be the time
contests every week.
What was that, Bill?
This time of night is the best time to work Australia from the States.
Yeah, I remember when WBCQ just was testing their transmitter, the new transmitter, and the new big antenna that rotates. It's the biggest antenna in North America that they put in. And we had people in Australia giving us signal reports during the show. We were simultaneously transmitting on WBCQ. Alan had put us over on 9330, the new transmitter, and he was running low power. He was only running 100,000 watts to the antenna.
That would be low power, yeah.
Yeah, he was running low power, and people in Australia were saying, man, you're coming in great, man. You're coming in good.
Hey, Colin, we can see you.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can.
can.
I only just worked out how to turn the camera on.
Let's see. Oh, okay. He's got a ham hat there. All right, perfect. Perfect, man.
Where are you in Australia, Colin?
I'm not sure in miles, but roughly 80 kilometres west of Adelaide in South Australia.
Okay. I have a number of friends in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's fair away from here.
Yeah.
How about you, Uchuka? I think is what it is. Is that close to you?
Where's that?
I may be pronouncing it wrong. Forgive the New England accent up here. Okay.
Yeah, New England to Australia. This is going to be good. We can.
Well, I think he said. Bill said Utuca. I think that's a Mayan village in the middle of Mexico somewhere.
No, Uchuca, I think you mean. Yeah, nowhere near here.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Everybody looks at Australia and thinks everything's, a 30-minute drive from here.
Yeah,
Well,
I didn't think like that. And it's huge.
Hey, listen, I got my call in Perth. Okay, VK6AWP. That is at least 25 to 2,800 miles from where that young man lives.
The border's a long way from here to Western Australia.
All right. Hey, Colin, I want to ask you a question, Colin. Have you ever looked at the map of Australia and flipped it? If you flipped Australia over, it kind of looks like the United States. Have you ever looked at that?
Except I think we're bigger, aren't we? Oh.
If you just flipped Australia over, and of course you guys are on the bottom of the world in here, but if you flip it over, it's almost the same shape as the United States.
Never really taken much notice.
Now, Charlie and Colin might have issue with calling it the bottom of the world.
Yeah.
They are actually on the top of the world. We're just inverted over here.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right. We've got, well, it says Joe Brown, but I don't think that's Joe. I think this is our other Australian friend. Well, it says Joe Brown, but I don't think that's Joe. I think this is our Australian friend. I don't know if Joe is your name or your wife's name.
Joe Brown.
Ignore the Joe Brown. It's actually quite VK2AMK.
Yeah.
And why haven't I got a picture?
Well, it may be dark down there. I don't know. There we go. There you go, man. You're coming in good, man. All right. Well, Bill, we're going to go with the true and tested launch this week, I think, and just try to keep one in the air for a while. We have gone through a bunch of launches over the years. This week, I think, and just try to keep one in the air for a while. We have gone through a bunch of launches.
Oh.
He must be playing back the video from the.
Yeah. You turn the video for the show off and listen to the video on YouTube.
Yeah,
I mean Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah, I'm listening to everything on Zoom. Oh.
Yeah.
That's why I use a headphone so that there is no.
What happened?
I can't tell who it's coming from. Can you guys tell? Is it where the feed?
Yeah, Joe Brown was the one lighting up.
Was Joe Brown one? Isn't there a way to look at the Zoom and tell where the voice is?
Yeah, it lights up the yellow border.
Okay, I'll have to look for that because I haven't been noticing that here.
Hey, Colin, are you? Is Adelaide 1/2 hour out of sync from UTC time?
From Eastern Standard, yeah.
Okay, so you're 30 minutes different, not an hour difference. Right.
Yeah. It's almost 1 p.m. here now. And it'll be about 1:30 there.
Yeah, it's 1:30 on the East Coast here. Almost.
So today's tomorrow there.
Yeah.
It's already tomorrow.
It is Wednesday.
Tomorrow.
You're living the future.
Or we're living in yesterday.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
We're living in the
Can you
past.
just give me the winning lottery numbers for my area?
I was just going to say, don't ask for the lotto numbers.
Well, this show, every Tuesday night, this show brings the past and the future together. Maybe we ought to make that one of our mottos.
Yeah.
Bring the past and the future together every Tuesday night.
That just means we bring the old folks out and the young ones out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I before I forget, I was listening today to your explanation about the coax switch that you built it with all the stuff you had at home.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing a build of a GPS DO. It's a discipline oscillator, and the only thing I had to buy was the Atmel 328.
Can you find them? Can you find those, Charlie?
In DIP package.
DIP form.
Yes.
Oh.
And in Uruguay, I bought it in Uruguay.
That's impressive because I've been searching all over for the quad pack version of the 328P, and they're showing DigiKey is now showing like March delivery for the first batch.
Well, but I think that the problem is on the surface mount.
That's the
parts.
one I need.
Yeah, because I saw a guy that tweeted he redesigned his product, which was a little board. I don't know for what, but all the components are surface mount except the processor that it's dipped. So he says we won't have any trouble with the supply chain because it's based on the Atmel 328.
Because you can get the dip version, but the surface mount flat pack quad pack QF version is completely unavailable until about March.
I've got a bag. I got a bag probably with a dozen in it that I bought through AliExpress. I wasn't sure if they were going to be counterfeit or if they were even going to work. But Bill, I've used them on the last two tractors and they've worked fine. So I guess
good. Okay. I'll have to check them out.
They work up to 38,000 feet.
Yeah, they'll work up to 38,000. Yeah.
You know, I had one of those InReach units that Delorme has. It was it had a Iridium modem in it, and it had a built-in GPS. And I flew it on a balloon, and it stopped working at 32,700. No, it was 32,000. I'm sorry, 29,328 feet.
Mount Everest.
I thought that's weird because
Mount Everest.
And I asked the guy, says, is that some sort of byte band boundary problem? And they said, no, we didn't think anybody be hiking any higher than Mount Everest. It was designed for hikers.
Yeah.
Yes, we had to, in one of our 3 balloons that at the club, we had to reprogram a GPS module for it to be for more height instead
altitude,
of speed.
Right.
So,
the U-blocks, you have to send a command to make it work above about 40,000 feet, or it'll just stop working.
Yeah, but it was really good because we recovered that, so we reused the module, and in the first balloon we realized that we also had a barometric sensor, so we could figure out the height we went with the barometric sensor.
Now,
so the GPS stopped working and the barometric sensor continued.
That's good. I bought a barometric sensor from Motorola. It was an MPX 5100A, and it was a great unit. It worked up to about 99,000 feet. And then I flew a later batch. It was just another batch from the factory came in. I ran out of them. So I bought some more, and they stopped working at 40,000 feet. And I asked the engineer, I said, what's going on? And he says, well, it was too difficult to make them work to an absolute vacuum, so we just stop them at 0.25 psi now.
Thank you very much.
And he said, we hope to get around to updating the data sheet. So I asked him if he had any of the old ones in a drawer, and he sent me a few that he had in a drawer. That got me through until I could find a better one.
Yeah, we had luck that time, and then we reprogrammed. We sent the command before launching to the same GPS model we recovered, and the next flight will work fine, no problem.
But I can't tell you how many people have flown the U-Blocks chips and forgot to put the command to go to airborne mode, and they all stop at 40,000 feet.
Yes. So yeah, and yes, about the GPS DO, here I built everything from things I had in the shack. So no problem. What's incredible, because I said, well, something I will have to buy sometime, and I had everything. And lots of regulators, op-amps, and some logic gates and things. I had everything. So it's good to keep stuff, you know.
And those GSDOs work pretty well. What are you calibrating with that?
Well, it's just to play around, because I bought a used but very good Suncor. I think Suncor is the brand. It's a quite old, but a frequency counter, which has an oven control crystal oscillator, and it works really nice. But I think it was out of calibration, so there the trip started, you know. How do I calibrate my frequency counter? So I bought one of these also frequency references, 10 megahertz frequency reference from eBay, but they also have this. You have to calibrate them too. So I'm doing the GPS DO with that as a clock. And I found one which is really interesting, because most of them are based on a PLL. You do a PLL, and then some people use the microcontroller to let's say know the freq as an accessory. But this guy did something really interesting, which is using the clock of the Atmel is the output of the crystal oscillator, and he clocks the Atmel via the crystal oscillator, and then he has the 1 PPS from the GPS into the one of the inputs from the processor, from the microcontroller, and then he counts, and he has a pretty interesting algorithm that he counts in different stages to go incrementing the precision of the counts. I think that's really interesting, because the processor it's always it's a state machine. It always, as instructions takes always the same number of clocks, so you only have to count. So that's really, really clever.
That is clever.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm testing it right now. I'm checking out if everything is working okay, because I'm having a bit of trouble with the. It has. How do you have to control the voltage of the frequency standard, the crystal. The oven control crystal oscillator, you have to control the voltage, and the thing is that it uses a PWM output and a filter, low pass filter for that. But then I had to use some op-amps to do some voltage adjustments, like the in his design, his standard was from 0 to 5 volts, and in mine you have from -5 to 5 volts. So I have to do some correction there. But I think I'm having trouble there, that it takes too long to vary from one voltage to another, and that makes some oscillations in the output. So I have to do something there, but I'm testing it. Of course, my frequency counter is already calibrated because it's at 1 hertz. So, and it's like 0.001 hertz or something like that, 0.005 hertz. So it's really good.
That beats having to buy a rubidium standard, which are pretty pricey.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, Bill, talking about the part shortage, for some reason I was wanting one of the U-Block 7Cs GPS, and you are right. They cannot be found. They do not exist anymore.
I've found a surplus house. I bought 100 8Qs.
Yeah, I've got 8s and 6.
Okay, the 7s you can't find because they're older version.
For some reason, I wanted the 7C.
Okay, somebody might have it in.
I'll have to.
I have a question, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill? All right. These chips that you're talking about, the 7Cs and the 8Cs, what are they for again, please?
Those are GPS modules made by U-Block. And the Max series, it's Max 7C or Max 7Q. The 7C will work on a little lower voltage, the main difference. And the Max 8C and X8Q, I use the 8Q now. The Max 8Q will do the BIDO system and several other different GPS constellations now. But if you leave it in that mode, it draws an extra 4 or 5 milliamps of current. So there's a command you can set it back to just the US GPS constellation, and that saves you about 5 milliamps.
Okay.
But if you want it to really track beautifully and you can afford the current, then just leave it as the stock multi-system GPS.
All right. So I have another question. You mentioned last week, I think it
looks something like this.
Well, actually, that's the Neo, I believe, Charlie.
18M?
Yes, this is for. Sorry, Bill. This is for a RTK2 module. So you have this RTK technology, but the shape is similar to that.
Module.
Yeah,
the Max series is about half that size, but it looks like that. It's a silver case with gold leads on 2 sides.
Okay, so just another question. You mentioned something about an 18M32 7C. What is that?
What was it? The 18 Mega 328.
Yeah, 18M 32 8C?
328 Alpha Tango.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was talking about the AT Mega 328P, which is the Atmel processor microcontroller that's used in Arduinos a lot.
Yeah,
or
that's the processor chip.
Yeah, that was an AT Mega. It's made by Atmel. AT Mega 328P, and those are the ones that are hard to find. And it's a very common chip.
Right. Well, I'm going to Boston tomorrow. That's why I asked, because there's a do-it-yourself electronics down there, and I was going to see if they had any.
Well, you might find it in a DIP package, but not in the QFP package, which is a 44-pin as a square surface mount.
44
Glen, does the Arduino Nano use that one too?
Yes.
So here I have a Nano in one of my experiments.
Yep, there's the chip right there. There it is.
And the chip is there. Let me see.
Yep.
There. Yes.
And there's a mini Arduino that is available from SparkFun and Adafruit. They use the surface mount one. But I don't want to get into having to remove a quad pack from a circuit board. It's
gosh, no.
You know, Bill, I found
the last option you have, you do it. But if not,
I have found that the 328P is probably one of the easier chips for me to solder. The 32 pins, it is easy. And Bill, I've even lifted it off. I've taken my heat gun and just heated it and lifted that sucker off and redid it. And I tell you,
and you're right. It's 32 pins. I didn't mean to say 44.
Yeah, 32. And what gives me the most trouble? Two things. I hate working the GPS chip. I don't like it. But that little SI 5351, that sucker, it's bad.
That's a very fine pitch.
It's bad.
Yeah, you need a soldering tip about as small as you can possibly get, and then make it smaller.
Yep. Yeah.
You need a steady hand, big magnification.
Yep. And I thought I'd a lot of time I'd be very careful, steady, and I'd almost get it, and then I'd bridge two of them, and then the solder wick, then the solder wick won't get it off, for some reason, and so I'll just take the heat gun, I'll heat that sucker up and lift it right off, and just clean the board and put it right back on.
Now I went to a board assembly house here in Huntsville, and they were doing some boards for me years ago, and one of the employees that worked there on one of those huge, like 120 pin quad packs, all she would do is put some flux down and then take the soldering iron with some solder and just go zip.
Yep.
And she'd just do 4 zips and she wouldn't even have solder bridges and be perfect, all by hand. But I think she probably did a few of them over the last few years.
Yeah.
Probably several thousand.
Well, I have found that the solder paste, the solder, the liquid solder paste is the way to go. Even though I've got some solder that's so small, it's thread hair size, but that's almost too big. But I can put that solder paste down. And you know how I have to put that solder paste down? I have to take a toothpick and an X-Acto knife, and I sharpen that toothpick so sharp, and you touch it in the solder paste, barely touch it, and then you get under that microscope, and that sucker looks like a baseball bat under there, and you just touch it to the trace right there, and man, that's the best way to do it. Just put the solder paste on it and heat them up.
Well, I use 0.010 inch solder. You have to special order it, so 10 mil solder and a very fine tip, and that'll hand solder some of that stuff. The 015, which is kind of a more typical, and 025 is your average size solder. That's going to be just like, that'd be like welding pipes by comparison.
Yeah.
The really fat solder,
I'm looking to see what this is. This says 0.3 of a millimeter.
Well, let's see. I don't know what
that converts to, but I'm gonna hold it up. See, it's
Well, I'll tell you in here.
It looks big. It looks big on the camera, but it ain't. It's not very big. I need to convert that.
I'll bring up my calculator. Take
0.3 millimeter
divided by 25.4. Why is it taking so long?
Just take it down to like.
Oh, that's pretty close to what I use. That's 0.012.
Yeah.
Point on what? Well, yes, that.
It's 0.012. I use 0.010.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you, like you're right, you use the smallest soldering iron you can find. And if you got one little bitty bubble of solder on that soldering iron, it's too much. Oh, man.
Don't you use, I know nothing about soldering in surface mount, but don't you use these stencils? They're called stencils, right? If
you want to get fancy and use a toaster oven, then the stencil, when you order a PC board from China, for example,
order the stencil, yes.
Yeah, I use JLC PCB. There used to be a website called Hackfana, and they would you could order PC boards from them. You send them their Gerber files from your layout program, and then they would create the circuit boards from them. Well, they actually worked with JLC PCB, and there's a Chinese house that's online, very easy to use. You just send them your Gerber files, and if you for an additional like minimal amount of money, they'll send you a nice little stencil with your design, and then you could squeeze the solder paste on that with a squeegee, and then put the components on, and then put it in a toaster oven. But you have to have a good toaster oven, a good profile, and it's not always going to turn out the way you want it unless you.
Well, Bill, when I had these boards made, I didn't order the stencil because, man, I mean, it's so small. I mean, you lay the part on there, you're going to smear them almost. You know, you're going to smear it from one lead to the next.
Yeah,
it's almost impossible to lay it down without.
Well, yeah, but that the solder mask takes care of that, right? When
the solder mat lets you get the solder on the little what do you call it, traces. But then you have to take the mat off, and then you got to put the part on there. And in that part, when you lay that part down here, some of these things are so small.
They can shift on you, and that.
No. But I'm saying not that stencil, the solder mask.
The mask itself
will separate the.
But it can still shift on the pins, I think, is what Tom's saying.
Yeah, I mean, you lay it on there, and you can put the solder paste on the pins, but then you take the mask off. But when you lay that part on there,
the stencil.
Yeah, if you lay that part on there, it moves, man, and it's some of the stuff is so close. Anyway, the paste seems to work out really well for me, and most of this is hand soldered. But Bill, there's some parts that you have to use the heat gun to.
A really cheap way that we've been doing it for one part, a quick and dirty way that works pretty well actually, is to hit the board, put your part on the top, and the solder has to be on the part, not on the board. And then you heat it from below with a heat gun.
Yeah.
And it'll sink down into it, and that lines up pretty good. I do that for the crystal and
the little oscillator on here, Bill.
One of the oscillators, I have to do that too.
The little oscillator on here, I take that toothpick and I'll put 4 little bitty specks of solder paste and just drop that thing down here. And when you heat that up, it just seems to automatically turn all by itself. It kind of lines itself up, you know.
It's not greatly temperature controlled, but it does work. That's a quick and dirty way of doing it. And if you're just doing 1 or 2 components, that's a real quick way, and it works pretty well. But use a good hot quality heat gun, one that's got some temperature behind it. I use a Steinol. It'll go up to 1300 degrees.
Mine does pretty good. If I want to take that 328P off, I just hold that thing down here and go around it a couple times, and before you know it, you can take the tweezers and lift it right off.
It's daytime in BK land.
Is it bedtime? No, it's not bedtime. It's lunchtime.
No, daytime.
Daytime. Look at that. Yeah. Hey, wait. What is that out there? A three-wheel, what is that? What kind of vehicle is that? That's a trailer.
Eucalyptus. You have the eucalyptus trees, right? Eucalyptus.
That's actually, communications van for a rescue group I'm in.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
And I don't know if you can see my tower behind me.
Oh,
yeah, the tower.
Nice. Yeah.
Higher.
I'll drop the laptop if I go any higher. Just had to sneak outside for a cigarette. It's open house.
Well, the weather looks nice.
It is today. There was a fair bit of lightning around yesterday, and blowing a gale and rain, and not good yesterday.
Very good.
Well, guys, we're coming close to the end of our show tonight. I want to thank everybody for joining in here with us, and I wish others would join us on Zoom and help us to pick out some new ham topics to talk about. Watch our Facebook group this week for our balloon launch. Probably going to be either Friday or Saturday morning. We'll get another one in the air. Hopefully this is going to stay up a long time. I really think this is going to go past the demons at 38. I think it's going to pass the demons. I really do.
Well, it's after Halloween, so you're good now.
Yeah. Let's see. Hey, do we have any new people in the chat room? It looks like the chat room's starting to dwindle down. Anybody new with us tonight that hadn't been with us before? Say hi. I see some calls there I don't recognize. KC5 NK. I don't recognize that one. No, let's see. So after the show tonight, I will trim off the music. I will post this on our audio podcast only, and we'll also get it prepared for our shortwave. This show is also heard on the international shortwave on 7490 kilohertz WBCQ on Thursdays between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. You're listening to the show. Okay, that's Steve. Steve from Dallas. Okay. Steve from Dallas. McKinney, Texas. AC5 NK. All right, guys. Well, anybody got a last minute thing you want to talk about? Any subject?
I have a question for Glenn when we wrap up, though.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. We're just a couple minutes early, but I'm getting ready for some popcorn or something. I'm getting hungry, man. And today, this is Friday for me. You know, even though it's Tuesday night, this is my Friday because I usually work, Monday and Tuesday getting the show ready. Once the show is over with, tomorrow is like Saturday for me. So I got a couple of days, some free time here. Looking forward to it. Maybe some popcorn, some TV, man, Oh, man. And then it starts
Is your generator already in or still back order?
What is that?
Your generator.
My generator? Well, they're telling me it's supposed to be delivered between November 2nd and the 5th, which is today. And then one other part between the 5th and the 7th. And I keep saying to them, okay, are you sure that the transfer switches are ordered? You don't talk about that. I said, I've waited 6 months. I said, I don't want to find out that there's 2 parts that aren't ordered and I got to wait 6 more months. Are the transfer switches in the order? And they just can't answer me for some reason.
So they're not.
Well, I don't know. They come back with there's an auto switch, but the auto switch is a smart switch that basically will hook to. I've got 3 air conditioning units here. It basically will balance the air conditioner if it needs to, turn one off or not run both of them at the same time. It'll kind of do that. But it's a 22,000 watt generator. I hope it gets put in the next couple of weeks, and they better have ordered those transfer switches. That's like ordering a car without the transmission.
Yeah.
It might crank, but it ain't going anywhere. Yeah.
Hey, question for Colin. What is the vehicle in the background? What kind of communication trailer is that?
Volunteer marine rescue. We've got a few rescue boats in our group, and I've got one of the radio bases at my house. Plus, yeah, that's one of our comms vans. So it's got a VHF Marine, 27 meg Marine, UHF CB, and half the time some of my ham radio stuff in it as well.
Oh, pretty nice.
I think I'm going to get rich.
Why's that?
I just looked on Amazon. This book is selling for $507.68.
Is that right?
Wow.
How many are available?
What?
It's showing that it is available now.
Are you sure that's not lira?
Whoa.
Are you sure that's not Italian lira or something like that?
No, that is Amazon.com.
Well, that's even more in Australian dollars.
Well, sign whatever books you have left and put them up on eBay.
More Arduino projects or ham radio, right?
Let me tell you, you gotta watch those. They're tricky. Sometimes, like a PlayStation box. They may have a PlayStation box on eBay.
Yeah.
And it says, "This is a box only, man. This is a box only." And people will pay $400 for the box.
Maybe just the cover, huh?
Well, I have a serious problem with eBay because they are selling the ARRL license manuals that are twice removed for $8.23, and people go and buy them, and then they go on Facebook and say, "Hey, I bought this thing, and it's dated such and such," and I says, on the front, what license term does it have? Does it have 2019 to 2022? Oh, no. This is something to 2018. I says, well, you got rooked. I says, send it back. Pay the $29.95 and get the real thing.
Yeah, but wait a minute. I mean, there's still... It should have useful information if you're studying. I'm not going to say that it doesn't have useful information. It's the same stuff.
But you turn to the back, and the question pool is not what you're expecting, and you come into a remote test session, and the question pool, comes out of the current question pool, and you sit there and you look at something for almost 10 minutes, and you say, "I don't know what the answer to that is."
Yeah. All right, guys. Good night. I'm gonna go ahead and close the show down. 73 to everybody out there. Thank you. That's best regard and ham radio talk. And we'll see you next week on Amateur Radio Roundtable. Please join us next week. Tell your friends. Bring somebody. Thank you. Good night, everybody.